Hello folks, well today we've got a Rotel RVC240. End user asked me if I'd look at it, and so we've been helping end users since COVID really, strictly trade only before then. So he's bought this on eBay as I understand it, as a service set. But I saw a photo of it, it says serviced in 2021, well it's now 2025, so things can alter. But we'll see whether it was set up properly or whether it's full of illegal modifications or what. So the report is it's not working above channel 32 or something like that. So you can see it's here, a box set, which is great. There's a letter on the outside of that packaging, so I must remember the return address is within that letter. Right. We've actually been holding this back a couple of sets because it came at exactly the same time as the last RVC240, and of course you don't want to be seeing identical radios one after the other. So there's a power lead in there which is looks decent. I'll check that later. There's a microphone in there, we'll check that during the on-the-air test. Got a radio, there's a note in here. It's from a very well trusted source. So, I think I'm not saying where that is from, but we'll get the duster on this job. Apart from that anomaly, so it was done 2021, and so what happens with these is the trimmer capacitors can go nasty. And that can cause you VCO problems. So we'll soon find out when we get the VCO looked into. Now of course it depends whether it's been sold from the very trusted source or whether it's been sold to somebody else and subsequently been sold. I'm not going to go any further. I'm not going to open it up. We'll test it at this point. So I've plugged our mic in. We'll plug our power lead in, especially if I can find it. Because I was doing a Cybernet 135 yesterday, so we can do that. So, I wonder where the pen's gone. Well, that looks about right anyway. So I'll just make a, it's from Cornwall. Right. Right, we'll power it up. So it's come on channel 9, so it's probably because it's got some clonked switches. Yeah, that's right. I think we'll start by doing what we usually do, and we'll test it on PA rather than jumping straight down what we've been told is wrong, which is not working on channels above 32 or something like that. So it should be on mic gain, the when I find PA. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Okay. So speaker works, PA works, meter lamp works. Right, we'll put the test gear into the other socket, but I'll need to provide an earth to that. So we'll do that, but not till we've tested transmitter. We're going to get feedback. Right. So switch picture in picture on, and we're on the 3 watt scale. We're on channel 20. Here goes. So it's beyond 3 watts. I've got 3.6. That's fine. Manufacturer says it should be 3.8. No transmit on 40, as stated. 3.5. Low power. 180 milliwatts. Transmit 1.102 amps. So we're going to do the VCO. Quick deviation check at this point. While we're on the wrong scale. While I've got 2.7. We'll come to that on the other test set. My test gear's been on more than half an hour, so with no reason to disbelieve what it says. 2779110. Yep. We'll pull that up, but if it was serviced 5 years ago, then it will drop down. With that in mind, we'll dial that frequency in to test the receiver. 79110. 2779. Yeah, I mean, I sold a set from here, Fidelity 2000, which is, you know, is a Cybernet 134 like this, and it was a lady it went to, and she complained there was no transmits, and so I gave her a full refund, and it came back here. And you know what? I sent it out with a brand new mic. I'd not tested the brand new mic because I like to give them in the sealed packet they came in. But it was the brand new mic with a wire off in the plug. So, you know, it makes me look a plonker. But there you are, you've got to unbox everything. You've got to take them out of the packets. And then, of course, you've got the other side. Well, that's not new. No, because it's tested. You know, I had this when I had the shop in Yorkshire. we used to have televisions on test, set up the power supplies. Imagine taking the back off a telly and setting up the power supply and making sure the convergence was right, because we're in the CRT days. And you know, I was doing Thorn products, specialising in HMV, and I had them on the bench for 40-hour tests and then checked the power supply. And we put them back in the box with PDI for pre-delivery inspection, and that was that. So a lady came in wanting a telly, and I said, yeah, I've just got one coming off test right now. Oh no, you want a new one in a sealed box. So our value-added service was totally overlooked. And another complaint was, sold a portable television set. Samsung were just coming in. They got black and white portables, all cheap and cheerful, £59.99 for a 12-inch black and white portable. You know, it was a good deal. And I've still got one here. Not that we have a telly, but you know what I mean. And so of course they're on in the shop on the aerial. But when she gets it home and tries to plug it in on the loop area, she's got no reception because she's in the poorest. Well, it wasn't like that in the shop. You didn't spell it out. Look, oh dear. So I know how it goes. You think you're trying to diddle when you're not, you know. Right, that discussion part's over. So let's look at receive. So with that on the signal generator, I'm going to have to provide that earth, as I said. All I need to do... Oh, the outer of that will do. Right, we need enough volume for the AGC to work on this. Check RF gains at full. No, it wasn't. It is now. Yeah, it's 0.2. Not 0.195. Not 0.3. You're not going to get better than this. It's one of those sets in 1,000, isn't it? We seem to be the survivors of these really, really good ones. I'm glad they didn't return it for a refund, because they probably wouldn't get a better example. I like squelch to be 100 microvolts, but there's no hard and fast rule on that. So this one's 180 microvolts. And we'll just do the opposite and see where the squelch sensitivity is. Let's just go over to the attenuator. We can see it between the wires. 0 there, 0.3 there, and to standby. Turn the squelch down. And what we'll do is put it back on the test set. It's 0.61. So I want the S meter to read 100 microvolts for S9. It does. And on transmit, I want it to read 4 when it's transmitting. It's a bit plus. I've ticked the wrong box, haven't I? Okay, so we've gone through that. So we've got this VCO issue, which is exactly as reported. I think I'm thinking whether to clean this with isopropyl alcohol or replace it. I think we'll clean it because the set doesn't smell of nicotine. Well, it's got a it's got just a bit of smell, but it's not all brown and horrible. And that's what kills the trimmer capacitors. I think we'll put some isopropyl alcohol in there and twizzle it round and then do the VCO later. But right now, before I intervene, we ought to take down the VCO readings. So it's done on channel 40 on these sets. So just dial in channel 40. So I think the best thing is to do this. We'll get these voltages and then I'll spray some isopropyl alcohol in there, waggle it round, let it dry for half an hour, then we'll come back to the set. And I am going to do full realignment, but the receiver is so spot on, it's unbelievable. Unless of course the detector's out. Right, let's borrow the clip back. Well, a bit warm in here. I think we're going to have to put the air conditioning on. Right. So we're on channel 40. Our receive voltage should be 4. It's 4.3. So that's within, 4. I've gone and lost the pen because it's under the clipboard. So I'll make sure that RX equals 4.3 and TX isn't going to be, it's not going to transmit because the VCO is so far out. So when we're going to transmit it should also be 4, but it's 6.2 because it's out of lock. And that's where the issue is. So out of interest, I'm going to put it on channel 1, and it should be 1.8, 2 to 2.4, that kind of thing on. So it is on receive, and on transmit it's 3.6, which is far too high, and that's where the issue is. So what we're going to do, I'll go and get some isopropyl alcohol, and I'll spray it in there. I'm not going to do this on the video because there isn't any. Oh, there is. There's some in the bottle here. We'll use the bottle one. I was going to say, because otherwise we're going to end up having to pause the video and restart it and all that for just a few seconds. So we'll put isopropyl alcohol off Mr. Chippie's toothbrush right into there. I'm going to switch the radio off as well. I've now gone and dropped the toothbrush into the neck of the jar. Come back to this in half an hour. I'll replace the preset. But I'm trying not to clock up unnecessary expense. I wouldn't make a good motor mechanic, would I? Oh, I don't know who looked at this last. Okay, so half an hour has elapsed. We'll get this meter reconnected. And we'll start by doing the transmit one, because that's the one, of course, I've upset by cleaning it. So, better switch the radio on, that'll help. We're on channel 40. We're on we're not connected to Earth anymore, are we? So we're still out of lock. Well, that seems smooth enough to me. So 3.99 on transmit. We'll drop receive to 4. So back to transmit, which is now altered because I've altered receive. You are supposed to do receive first. So transmit is 4, receive is 4, transmit is 4, receive is 4. Now we'll go to channel 1 for that checksum. 2.1 on receive, 2.1 on transmit is absolutely brilliant. We're going to do an on-the-air test tonight on this set. I'm going to not put the lids on, and tomorrow morning we'll switch it on from cold, and before dispatching it back to the customer I'll make sure the VCO is as I've set it now. So we'll change that to 4 plus 4. So we'll have another check of the frequency now things have moved on half an hour. See whether I can just alter that. Very, very slightly low. So it's, oops, we need to be on channel 20. 79114, it's come up a fraction, so just touch it up to 125. I think we'll leave it there. It's spot on, isn't it? I do transmit. I've no reason to believe any of this is out. Whoops, that's the trimming tool on the floor. Ceramic tool on ceramic floor. Right, we'll go to the main meter. And just make sure we're in the centre of centre of the peak. Where's the other glasses? My late father had plus 12 vision, so he was very long sighted, and he had to go in the loft when we lived in Yorkshire, and his glasses fell off his head. Of course he couldn't find his glasses, so he put his foot through the ceiling. Right, we're on the 30 watt scale, so we'll just need, I can take that earth off now, just make sure we're in the centre of the peak. I'm skirting around the edges. So maximum, whoops, wrong end, maximum, 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 again, get this temporary peak, maximum, maximum. I'll have to go through this 3 times. It wasn't kind of how I wanted it. Maximum, maximum, maximum. I'm going to let that cool down. We're currently at 4.5 watts, but having run it in transmit for more than a minute, it's going to heat it up, and we're going to start getting false readings. So the receiver, absolutely excellent. I've still got to do it. So we'll connect an earth to our speaker. We'll now make sure we're on frequency. And we'll go over to our oscilloscope first. Check that the detector is spot on. Absolutely so. Do the front end. Just turn the squelch down. Go over to the cyanide meter. Of course, it's all spot on. I want to see the meter on the front as well as the cyanide meter and the oscilloscope. I'm going to have to move up the meter sensitivity. Put more signal on as well. Yep. Very good. So get a new reading. Probably be worse. Not 0.21. Not 0.2. Not 0.31. Right, we'll do the. I better do the meter sensitivity because we've upset that, of course. So 100 microvolts on the test set. We'll get that back to S9. Which it is. Now we need to do the squelch. So turn the squelch to full. Just put the attenuators up. 100 microvolts. I want the squelch to open. Which it now does. Now we're going to check the sensitivity without knocking the volume control. Signal generator to standby, squelch to threshold. Signal generator back on. 0.72. 0.72 microvolts, that's now 100 microvolts, which is where I want it. We've done that. No, we've done that. I don't want to do the transmit meter till we've done the transmitter. Go back to transmitter. That should have cooled down sufficiently, because the idea is that you need to adjust the left hand yellow one clockwise for 4.4 watts. So we'll go back to the main meter. So here we are, all poised. And then the green one anti-clockwise for 4 watts. The manual says 3.8. But then they've got to get these things through customs. And we know you're entitled to 4 watts, so we're jolly well having it. 4 watts on channel 1. Let's say 3.98. And we'll just reset the meter, unless it has reset itself. No, it's being a bit generous. It could be for psychological reasons. You have to have it banging across so people think they're getting loads of transmit. I'll just tell the truth. Like having a mini metro motor car with the speedo that goes 160 miles an hour, and you psychologically think it's going to go fast. I'm showing my age mentioning the mini metro. I learnt to drive on a mini metro with British School of Motoring, who had those. Right, so that's done that. We've set the power. We're doing low power. So switch the radio to low power, there we are. Select the 3 watt scale. It's now doing 500 and something milliwatts. We'll just pop that down a fraction. It's a bit noisy, that. It's just there we are, 400 milliwatts. 400 milliwatts. Reset VCO. Dirty low power preset. Put that away. Transmit current. Making sure we're on channel 20, we're on full power. It's 1.115. 1.115 amps. So you can see it's gone up 10 milliamps to deliver 0.4 of a watt more. So there we go. That's nice. RF meter. Did we do that? We just did that. Yes. I'm losing the plot. Okay, I've decided to change this VCO trimmer capacitor. I've just come back to the set and there's no transmit. Looked at the voltage, it's 0.6 instead of the 4, and so obviously it's not staying put. So we put a new one in, and I should have got new ones on here. Ha 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 ha. Oh yes, I should. Okay folks, so I've had to go and find a trimmer capacitor. These are from RS Components, so they are certified that they're the real thing. And all we need to do is insert it. And as I said before, we'll come back to this tomorrow to make sure the VCO hasn't shifted on its own. These have to go in the right way round. Right, with the negative on our crocodile clip. Okay, we've got 4.03 on receive, so let's go into transmit. 6.2, so it's out of lock. Right, 4 volts on transmit, 3.99 on receive, 4 on transmit, 3.99 receive. Let's go to channel 1, 2.15 on receive, 2.16 on transmit. So we're back to land of the living with that. Again, I'm going to be monitoring this. Right, we'll do we'll do the. Then we're off to go and take some radios back to a customer for a few hours. I'll wrap the video up then because I can monitor that voltage. I'm going to leave this radio on. Just select channel 20. And come back to it in about 5 hours. Just do this deviation. Oops. Wow, it's spot on. It's a peak of 2.5. So I'll turn off my oscilloscope and cyanide meter. Don't need those again today. Leave the test set on, leave the radio on. See you in about 5 hours. Okay, so 5 hours later we're back. And I'll put the radio on channel 40 and we'll see if the VCO is where it was left. The set's been on all the time. So 4 volts on receive, got the prods the wrong way round, and on transmit 4.18, that'll do me. So just check it on channel 1. Receive 2-ish. And on transmit. So there are other reasons the VCO can go at 2.27, but it is normally the trimmer capacitor, especially if it's had a whiff of fag smoke. So we're doing on the air test with this, and then I'll come back to this tomorrow morning from cold and I'll recheck it again. So I'll just put the lids on. I'll put that lid on. Never put them on the right way, do I? So just put a few screws in for now. So, very nice radio. So I put one screw in each half. Good. Right, we'll get it plugged into the roof area, which is the Solarcon 99. Helps if we're not on external. One and a Roger. Bit of distant radio traffic out there. Right, we'll go to Mega Chippie channel. We'll do an on-the-air test. So thank you for watching the Rotel RVC240 from 1981.